Yeah.
All right, now we are. I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paulg Greenberg.
He's the Brohammer. How about that? Got the Brohammer in the intro. That's cool.
That's
Hey,
the
peeps.
best.
I crashed the intro just like I promised in my promo.
And that means
Sometimes advertising is real, man. Sometimes it's real.
it's a Monday morning in Vegas. And the only reason I'd be here on a Monday morning in Vegas is because of PegaWorld and the opening keynote. And we expect big things. But let's get things going here because we're only about T-minus 12 minutes away from the opening keynote. And I have one thing to say before I bring out the slides. I've already got to ding them on one thing. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see this. My
Wow, partner. Is that maybe their attempt at being Texan?
No.
Hey, partner. No, that would be partner with a D.
Not partner.
It would be with a D too, partner.
Yes. So, well, you will give them a. Well, no, I'm going to include that in my judging. You know, you got to do that. You have to do it. But now, besides that, I asked everybody to send in their 3 things, and you guys actually sent in 3 things. It was great. But in addition to me, the Venerable Paulg Greenberg, and the Brohammer, we do have our in-room correspondent is back, Liz Miller. She's back for duty. And we also have our buddy, Adrian Swinska, who will also be in the a room for this. So he'll be commenting. We'll be sharing his comments. So got a pretty full crew here. So before we jump into the 3 things, the bullet points, I will be getting a chance to spend a few good minutes. This is hard to believe. David Vidoni, who's the Chief Information Officer, he's been at Pega for 25 years. And Paul, have you talked to him? I've
never.
I looked at it. First of all, he doesn't even look like he could possibly be anywhere for 25 years.
Right.
But the fact that he's been there all the while that we've known Pega and we've never talked to, I am very intrigued. And Paul,
I wish I was going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say this was all set up for a CRM Playaz show. Unfortunately, Paul isn't able to make it physically, so we've never done a CRM Playaz without both of us being there, so we can't call it that. So it'll be a few good minutes.
No, it's absolutely what that is. It's a few good minutes, and you got another one coming with that one, right?
Tara DeWow. I know it says DeZal, but trust me, her name is Tara DeWow. She's also, well, you saw her at IRL this year, because Pega was a sponsor of that. And she's been on a number of our shows, and she's just one of our favorite people. She gave me a big hug because she knew you weren't going to be here. And she also said, I guess I don't have to give him the coffee now. So
I haven't even gone through her last batch, man. She is arguably the greatest coffee connoisseur I've ever met in my life. I mean, normally when somebody who's connoisseur gives me something, it's pretty good. In her case, she literally gave me one. She said it's her favorite coffee. It's my favorite coffee now by a long shot. And then she gave me another one, which is, I would say, my second favorite coffee now.
Now she's 2 for 2. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, and one last thing. Every year for the last 3 years, well, 2 years ago, I had the pleasure of having Karen Manton walk me through the introduction to Blueprint, which is Blueprint is basically their bread and butter. And I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about that in the keynote. And then last year, she walked me through the update to what's going on with Blueprint. So this is an annual tradition, almost like any other. See what I did there?
Yeah. Wow.
So for the 3rd year in a row, I will go through the technology pavilion with Kara to see what is going on with Blueprint in year 3 and how it's been morphed and upgraded. That's all I'll say. And then you'll see what I'm talking about when we walk through it with Kara. So I think that's all of those things.
Okay. Well, I have a rumor I have to dispel. Which is that there's a number of people who think that I deliberately induced the AFib so I could be home to watch the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. And that's not true, because I would have watched it from there.
Are you sure it's not true? I'm just
positive. No, oddly enough, though, the triggering episode, the triggering thing that triggered the episode was the Knicks game, the last one. It literally was a trigger, right?
I
Went
have
down
no
to the
doubt.
wire.
I have no
I've
doubt.
never been triggered by a sports event before in my life. I've had this 6-7 years AFib, and usually it's maybe caffeine, random things that I have no idea why. Pretty much usually that. It's never been a sports event I definitively can prove it that it was the Knicks game that triggered it last time. So I have to be calm tonight.
Yeah, I hate to see what happens if the Knicks actually get the game 4 and they're up 3-0. But anyway,
well, no, I'll be good then. I'll be good when the Knicks are winning. I'm good. It's when it's close it drives me crazy.
All right, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to that.
Yeah.
All right. So I asked each of you guys to send in 3 things that you're looking for, and you actually did 3 instead of 4 like you did last time. So we'll start off with the Brohammers 3. Prioritizing deterministic workflow automation over replace our reliance on frontier models. Will Pega keep taking shots at competitors, pushing the thousands of agents narrative? And examples of realistic transitions to AI workflows. Which of those do you want to expound on there, Brohammer?
Well, I just want to say that we got one of the classic CEOs taking the stage today in the industry, and I'm just hoping that he brings the vintage Treffler and we hear some outspoken stuff, because we don't get that from too many keynotes anymore. And the other thing, all of these bullets kind of wind up in one place, which is Pega's got a pretty different approach to AI that is well worth considering. How well will they articulate that is really the thing, and it is pretty different. We can get into that a little bit as we go, but you got to bring customers along too, and that's where vendors have really struggled almost universally this spring, is giving customers something that they can say, oh yeah, I could see myself doing this. I could see myself on stage in a couple years. So we'll see, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay. Liz is moving to her in-room correspondence duties, but she did send in, she wants to see if Spicy Allen will come out swinging. I think you just backed that right up. And if you want to know what Spicy Allen is, let's get a little taste from what she's looking for.
Allen, I am 100% looking for Spicy Allen and there are a couple of reasons why. I think it's because of the environment and the world we're in right now. I think that Pega as an organization has always been super pragmatic, and we look to leaders from Pega for that, like, okay, we know everyone wants to be here in AI land, but let's get there. And Alan gets a little spicy about it. And so I think that considering what we're walking into, which is like SaaS apocalypse, like in what's happened, Brent, in like the last several months, since the beginning of the year, SaaS has been killed, it's been revived, it's been killed again. I don't know if you guys knew about this or not, and I don't know if Paul's alerted. CRM is dead.
We've heard that a time or two.
And of course, you're successful at AI if you use a lot of AI. Token maxing is here. And so I think in this environment, I'm especially looking forward to a spicier Allen.
Spicy Allen it is, apparently. Moving forward, because we're getting kind of close, I'm keeping my eye on things. We also have Adrian, who's going to be commenting from in the room. He wants a punchy take on tokenomics. Hopefully he gives us a punchy take real quick in this clip.
To see a punchy take on this whole tokenomics sort of thing, because something that's been bugging me for a long time is how we don't understand the real economics of all of this, the AI infrastructure that people are kind of using. And you can always rely on Pega, particularly Alan, to have a punchy take on this. I'm really looking forward to that.
Wow. Everybody's looking forward to a punchy, spicy.
I know, I was about to say that. Anything ending in a Y.
Okay, we now move to the Venerable Paulg Greenberg. Evolution of Blueprint, 2 years later. It's easy for me to say. Furtherance of the corporate narrative and development of partner strategy. Which one of those you want to detail us on?
Well, actually, because I'm staying away from AI deliberately, which is the corporate narrative. Well, it's not, which is inclusive to it. Look, the masters at the corporate narrative over time with significant transformations has been Pega, really. They've done it for, I don't know, 25, 30 years successfully. They don't lose customers because all of a sudden they change direction, because they know how to speak to it. and they're really good at it, in fact, and they sustain and support. AI has called for a dramatic, once again, transformation, change of direction, pivot, right? To everyone else's point, they are a practical, pragmatic organization, and they're going to be doing it. Blueprint itself is obviously a good example of what they've done. I want to see how they handle that, right? Because I would say this, the vast majority of companies we've already heard have done only at best an average job, and at worst a horrible job at that kind of narrative. So that, and then partners really is important, because I don't think that's their strong suit. And I think they really need to step that thing up. And I'm curious to see if they actually get that.
All right. I think I have mine here too.
Okay.
Real quick, 'cause I think they're getting ready to get started on things. Actually, if you notice, my bullet points have not changed since last week.
I'm getting deja vu.
I know.
What just happened?
Well, literally, I am looking at the general AI fears. I am really looking for Pega and Alan to talk right on, taking the whole AI anxiety on and the costing. And I will be shocked if we don't see a spicy Alan around talking about that, in particular, the cost involved with AI and how Pega is looking to help their customers understand and feel comfortable about using their AI to their fullest. So we'll see. And I'm also still looking to see if somebody will help me get Aaron Donald back in the Rams.
You're talking to a Patriots fans. They are not going to help you.
I don't know.
They are guaranteed they are not going to help you.
Hey, they might.
I'll help you, man.
All right.
I'm not a typical Pats fan, though. So
that's true. You aren't.
All right. It looks like something's going on here. So let's see what's happening. Keynotes are starting soon. Anything to add? I got to go put up get my power because my machine is about to.
Well, I'll add one thing to kill a little time while you're doing what you need to do there. Paul, I really liked that you focused on some non-AI points, because a lot of times you got to get the fundamentals right, and the partner ecosystem is like never been more important to vendors than it is right now.
Thank you.
And so I really liked what you said. And I gave a couple of vendors a hard time about that recently, because I felt like they were kind of like dismissing all the assets they built up in their community. And I feel like now's the time you build on that. And part of being successful in the so-called AI age is being more human as well. And yes. and people buy into ecosystems. They buy into the energy in the room, and you can't do that on your own. So I really like that, and let's see how they do on that today.
Well, to return the compliment, the thing I always love about yours are the detail is practical at all points. When you're looking for the detail you're looking for, it's not, you don't want to hear their spin, you don't want to hear their messaging qua messaging. You want to hear the details on how they're actually going to utilize what they have to impact people and customers in a way that makes customers want to be customers with them. And you always bring that, man. And that I don't even have the skills to go that deep, right? So I don't, right? So I'm glad you're here to do it. That's all I can say.
Well, let's be inspired today. I mean, that would be great. And we got Liz saying that the garden is filling. Hey, Liz, I wish I was there to give you like my vintage Paulg Greenberg stamped hug of approval.
Right back with you.
By the way, I'm sorry to break up the love fest here and get ready to go to things here. Jeez, you guys.
Oh, well, I think it's done now. I think we're good.
Yeah, we did what we need to do.
The Graham Garden is filling nicely. Music is loud. The keynote's getting ready to start. Okay, we're getting the blow by blow here. This is good stuff.
Well, it's funny. Pega, for whatever reason, it's a company's been around what, 84. So we're talking what, 42 years. It really. I don't know about you guys, but I can pretty well assume the same, that you just sort of have goodwill toward them. There's something about the company I always like, and they can be contentious, and I'm probably less of a fan than most, but at the same time, I've always really liked the company. I mean, it's just like there's something about them that's made me glad that I have some sort of association with them, and either as an analyst, sometimes as a speaker or advisor or whatever. But there's something appealing about them. And you know what? They're also smart. I mean, you remember back in the day when customer engagement was just coming online, they actually built they didn't just take their CRM platform and rebrand it. They actually built a customer engagement capability into the platform so that it became a customer engagement platform, unlike most companies who just rebranded CRM.
Well, and I'll take it a little bit further and push past that history and say that this is their moment. When you saw all the slides there mentioning tokenomics, there's a genuine weariness and anxiety. And Brent, you mentioned the fears about AI as well. And one of those in enterprise right now is the costs run amok, and how do we really make sense of this in our environment in a way that really works? And Pega's been preaching this, and now we get to see if they have the right sermon for today, because this is their moment.
Okay, looks like we got moving. I'm going to put the sound on.
And this is the moment.
Here we see what we got. Hey, Adrian. All right, Adrian is in place.
We're ready, man.
All right.
We got multiple commenters from inside the room. This is going to be good stuff.
This is going to be great. I do wish I was there.
Lisa Pinchman said this is her last PegaWorld. She's retiring. And she said she was especially looking to get a last.
Oh my God. I will find her to give her
is
one.
only outmatched by your power.
I will tell her that. I'll reach out to her.
Right now, AI is writing and rewriting the rules. Faster than forecasts, more constant than pings to your inbox. But change? It's raw material. Granite to greater ideas. Bricks to bolder futures. And you're the architect. With the power to break down the barrier between AI promise and business outcomes. Between dream and done. And here is where your vision takes shape. 3 days of sessions that sharpen every edge. Demos that place the blueprints of the future in your hands. Experiences designed for leaders like you, who aren't here to learn what's next. You're here to reimagine your business and run it predictably right now. With AI that moves fast and breaks nothing, the most predictable agents on the market, and the full force of everything your business knows, scaling to the heights of tomorrow. No more keeping up. It's time to own the change. Are you ready? Let's build for that. Welcome to PegaWorld.
Well, that was
very dramatic. Yeah.
It was also very practical, though.
Yeah.
Please welcome
Speaking
Pega's
of which,
founder and CEO, Alan Trefler.
that music literally sounds like it was bought from Artlist.
Hello, Pega. Welcome.
He doesn't really age much.
It's great to see
No.
or actually not see most of you here. The lights are sort of in the eyes. But I can hear the sound. I can feel the energy. And I know
How many
that
people
you
are
would
expected?
agree with me that this is an
Not
amazing
sure.
time. And it is wonderful to be joined by these brands, to be able to contemplate where we are, what we need to do, and some of the important choices that have to be made. I'm told that a lot of these conferences, including many I've been to, really don't delve very deeply into things that are controversial or different ideas. I want to set the challenge for myself with you to completely change that today. To give you a way
You're
of
on,
thinking
brother.
about this world that we're at, that would influence how you chose to apply and evaluate AI in your organizations. And this is based on our long history of understanding technology change, working with AI. And I will tell you, this is an enormously fraught, enormously confusing, and enormously important time. We've all, for the last couple of years, been exposed, and every one of these organizations has been playing with AI. Fed these little tokens by the drug dealers to get us sort of hooked, that, hey, don't have to pay anything for this token or these tokens, $20 a month, all you want. And all of this creating the sense that there was, because there is something magical here, and that somehow this magic would convert itself into just a utopia that would take so many of our operational, administrative, customer problems, make them better, really boost organizations in ways that they might not have conceived of before.
Token is the new drug of the masses.
It is magical. I mean, look, everybody knows we all want to vibe our way to whole new coded systems. Everybody knows
it appears magical anyway.
Of agents,
right?
With English,
I would contest. I would contest the actual magic.
I would too, but I think he's kind of contesting it.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of sarcasm going on here, folks.
Yeah.
That must be better. Yeah, we'll put a control tower in and manage it somehow.
Shots fired.
I was about to say.
Shots fired. Yeah, didn't take him long.
No.
Yeah. Control tower.
There goes one of my bullet points. Boom, right off the slide. Bye-bye.
There's been some concern that maybe there's a little darkening here.
Oh, wow. Now we got the dark cloud.
A little bit about this utopia here. For instance, we've discovered that these new models that people have, they actually don't always come up with the same answers. I mean, look, we like them because they were creative and probabilistic, and that can be extremely powerful.
I think you did get spicy out there.
They seem to almost form opinions of their own sometimes.
Yeah, but this is just such a good way to do it.
This is so good,
man.
And then every week, well, every couple of weeks at least,
I wait to see if the greenery gets like destroyed somehow.
It starts turning brown.
Yeah, I think I might get that. I'll see.
Change the outcomes you may have come.
Look at the vultures flying.
Depend on. And boy, that can really add to the confusion.
Yeah.
There's more by the minute. And if I
look, there's people just standing out there in the rain. That's all.
I know.
It turns out that AI can generate massive amounts of code. Not really surprising if you think about what it does and how it is. But what I always learned when I was growing up as an engineer,
not necessarily good code.
It's not about the quantity of the code.
There
it's
you
whether
go.
You can navigate it and actually understands what it does. We used to have contests when I was in college in which we would try to write a computer program in the fewest number of lines. I guarantee you that none of the Claude AI went through that education. There's a real desire to be very expensive. And don't get me wrong, we write a lot of code with AI. Everybody should write code with AI. But should you trust AI to build whole comprehensive systems that are somehow going to have to be fit together and going to change? Well, I don't know. I think there's some.
I can answer that. No.
Dark clouds there. And then 4 weeks ago, this amazing thing happened. Now, we knew this was going to happen several years ago because we've seen this movie, but a lot of people seem stunned when suddenly, the dealers began wanting you to pay for the tokens. So all of these $20 a month plans or $100 a month plans suddenly became, oh my God, no, maybe it'll be as many as it'll be. And we have the CIO of Airbnb saying he ran out of tokens in his first quarter. And by the way, he's just beginning. And so this idea that these things will cost something should not surprise any of us, because we've been reading about the $1 trillion worth of data centers that are getting built. I mean, somebody's got to pay for these, you know, and Anthropic needs its IPO. So we're in a really interesting situation where the decisions we're making have a lot of influence. Can we actually let these things run loose, or can we find a way?
Those
to
ominous
organize
birds
the
are
AI,
everything,
I
man.
know.
organize the code,
That's
Oh,
organize
look.
the agents,
friggin' beautiful.
so they
Uh-oh.
operate in a harmony,
Uh-oh.
and they'll
Oh, we're
actually
back.
give us the city that we want. But a
He's heading to
city that
solution land.
ultimately
Yeah.
we need to be the ones to
I'm
control.
Oh,
going
happy
to
happy birds in the
understand,
background.
Where are
and
you
be able
going?
to
I'm going
Nice.
to Disneyland.
And
I
what
was
Pega
wrong
believes
on the
firmly
browning of the.
is that if you use Pega to reimagine your AI,
Ooh, look at that.
that you will
Sun
be
is
able to
brighter.
achieve predictable outcomes. That is, the AI will give you the answers you want to give your customers on a consistent
Those
basis.
birds in the background just now are
And
kind of brilliant,
be
because
able
that's
to
that
do it
organized,
with predictable
organic
costs.
flocks
And
Yeah.
being
with
able
organic. There's
to
systems
do
of
that,
birds,
we think
right?
is
So
absolutely critical.
that you can that have
How to
patterns.
do this, you're going to be
Maybe those are
to
Pega's
have to
partners.
change
Yeah.
the way you think about applications.
Nah, that would be like
Because the
5
word
birds.
agentic, which means kind of all things in all places, does have some concepts that we can tease out. And there
But
is
to their
going
credit,
be a
none of them would be
huge
vultures.
change in the way that business applications operate. Historically, business applications have operated as screens sitting in front of databases and going through, and humans typically being able to type stuff in.
Good to
and
see you,
take stuff and
Christopher.
post it. And
Welcome
in a
back,
world that's
Christopher.
agentic, you're not going to
Hi,
have
Chris.
humans, and you certainly don't want to do what we make people do today. We make people sign on to a system and then sign on to an application and then navigate that application to get to a particular part of it. And then having found that, you know, get trained to do something on that page of the application. No, the way applications of the future want to work is you want to be able to have the application be a collection of processes, data, security, but have it be able to come to you so that you can tell it what you need, and the right application will reach out to give you the right workflow to get things done. And this is the vision that Pega's actually had for a long time around something we call center out. Center out is the idea that the heart of your applications and the heart of your businesses should be the combination of the decisions you make, the workflows you execute, and the context, the case data you collect that you can describe, show an auditor, do machine learning from. And it needs to be independent of the channels on the left, whether this is an individual or a customer or an agent, and also independent of the data sources, because customers never have a data fabric that's as good as they want, and it's always changing, particularly if folks merge. But this idea of applications and building applications that are these collections of workflows that you can study and you can understand gives an organization both power to execute, but also that reliability and predictability. Let me draw an analogy. Let's say you were in Vegas and you wanted to open a restaurant, like many of the very fine ones that are here. What would you do? Well, you get a space to put the restaurant in, and you wouldn't run out and start hiring a bunch of chefs and putting signs on the wall for people to come in and tell you what they wanted. No, what you would do is you'd create a test kitchen, and you'd exercise how you wanted to create that menu that would be both exciting to your customers and something you could operationalize, you could build consistently. And then you would build that test kitchen and select the recipes that reflected what it is you wanted to do as a business and how you wanted to build your reputation here. And then you have a basis for being able to scale up how you want that recipe set to work. And don't get me wrong, you can tweak the recipes for an individual patron, but you should have a core architecture that describes the business processes that make your business work. The service catalog is at work for your business. This is what we invented when we used AI to create Pega Blueprint. And the thing about it is this is a terrific use of AI, to be able to use AI to build creativity, to challenge, to pull information together from
I don't know if
different
he's going to
sources
get into it
and
fully, but
really grind it.
they
And
primarily
this is as
use the
humbly
expensive
progressive as anything
reasoning
you'll ever
models during
see.
what they call the design time, which is part
However,
of this
we
blueprint.
thought this
But
was so
unlike most
important to our
vendors, they're not
customers
using the reasoning
that
models hardly at all at
we gave it
so-called
away for free.
runtime,
Put it on
which
Pega.com.
definitely saves a lot of
Because
money.
this allows
There's no
customers
debate
to
about
really
that, and they
rethink what
argue
they
gives
do.
you a more
And you know
reliable,
what the secret
predictable
is?
business result, which is sort
For
of the
every
crux of the
blueprint
debate
of a
around what the
recipe,
best approach
you're going to
is.
produce
Well, I
it
guess in a
hundreds,
certain regard, to
thousands,
your
tens of
point, it's a
thousands of
difference between
times.
building an app and
So the
then using
aggregate
an app.
cost
You know,
Yes.
is really very modest
I you
because of the
know,
way you do
you
it.
if so
Contrast
you're
it
effectively getting
the
the
way
outcome
that
of the
the
build,
agentic
and
folks
so you
talk
don't have to spend the money as a
about
customer
reasoning,
on
wanting to
you know,
re-reason
building
every
the
single
build,
time you do
which
something.
is
Right.
again, it
We think
flows
this
with
is
everything
madness.
they've
We
ever
think
done
that
as a business
workflow
period since
recipe mindset
'84. Business
is an
process management,
architectural
their number
mindset for
one
your
thing
businesses
back in the day.
and may not
Well,
be
if you remember the last time he was on with us, he said about
but let's
95%
face it,
of
a tremendous
what their
amount of
customers
every
need
business
done
has
has
similarities.
always been the case. It's not
And you should
nothing, anything
prepare
new.
before
So
you
it's
go
about the
build
design of
tens of
the
thousands of
that,
tokens
then running
to
it
make
over and over
something
again
up
with
from
that same
scratch
design,
might
as
not give
opposed
you
to
a reliable answer.
having everything done on
Now,
the
this
actual
blueprint idea
runtime.
has
Yeah, and you'll
AI
notice that
built into
he
it, and
already
it's
trashed
enormously exciting.
LLMs for giving different
But what
results at
I've
different
found even
times.
more
Not to say
exciting
that that's not
is
always
something you'll
that
see
can
in
be
the
good
Innovation
sometimes when
Hub
you're
today,
creating, but not when you're
where we've got
trying to
8 of
execute
our
the same
partners
process again and
Yeah.
again.
Right.
in booth
Well, a lot of these guys are
showing
now talking more about
their
the
branded
deterministic
blueprint,
versus the probabilistic kind
where
of
we've
stuff. So,
given them a language
Yeah,
model
they
like
are,
the
but
database. Let
but
me
they're
call it
not
the database,
they're not
where they can
using the
put their
Pega approach
intellectual
though.
property.
They're
We can't
right.
see it.
what they're trying to do is
But when
prevent
one of their
LLMs
staff
from
members
doing
uses
certain
Blueprint
misbehaviors
in
at runtime,
conjunction
but they're
with
still
their
using
vector
the
database,
LLMs reasoning engines at
not only does
runtime
their
much
name
more than
come up on
Pega.
the top of the
Now,
page,
whether
Right.
that's the right approach or
but
not
they
is
get
kind of what
something
he's
that
talking
takes what we
about, and
offer,
so let the customers
supplements it
decide
with what the
basically. But let's
customer
hear
has added, and
hear their
supplements
case.
it with their best practices.
Well, one of
And
the
we think this is
this might
hugely
sound like an
exciting.
odd
You
way of
should
looking
go
at it,
and
but one
see
of
how
the
some of the partners have
problems
done amazing things
that the
in
LLMs have
terms of
that
being
humans
able
don't
to
necessarily
begin to
have
do this. And I think this
in the
really is a
same
great
way
harbinger for the
is
future
memory,
of how we can
right? I
make
mean,
our
you come up
partners
with different answers
do
because
tremendously
literally the
better
LLM
business
forgot how it
with
answered it
our
last time,
clients collectively.
right?
Yep.
And looked at it a little
We're
differently,
also
but
doing
because the
something with
memory is
Blueprint that I'm
faulty.
really
It's
excited
good.
about
It's fact
in
it's
the next
there is
release,
good.
the 26th
Humans
release.
tend to
We are
record,
taking
right?
Blueprint AI
So they can go look it up.
and we are
In effect,
adding it into what
it's
we
a
call
different way of
Infinity
looking at
Studio.
memory, and
So
I trust
historically,
humans
people would go through the
far more than I
Blueprint
trust
process. They would
memory
download it
of
to their
AI.
system, and then they would use our traditional
This is important
portal
what he's talked about,
to be able to
that
complete their
their
build.
new Infinity
Now,
Studio,
Infinity
and how
Studio
they
is available
connected
to
it
them
with
also at
Blueprint.
no cost. That brings AI to the helping and the fixing of their build. And from what I have seen, massively reduces the time and effort needed to finish a Pega system.
Wow,
And will
really?
work
One
with our
silent.
customers' existing systems. Our
I
customers
believe
use
it.
23
I
systems,
believe it. I mean, this
24
is
systems,
really
25 systems. When they
distinctly
upgrade to
different, let's say,
26,
than any
their
other
existing
keynote
workflows
we've heard all year,
all
because
operate
it's
now
it's
with the
literally
power of
realistic.
AI.
Well, and he's
We
directly
think this is
addressing
very exciting.
this
But
AI
perhaps the
anxiety that a
most
lot of people
exciting
have in
thing I
terms
think
of
I need to talk
understanding how
about
to use
today
it, when to use it, and how
is
much
the
it's going to
picture
cost them.
of
He's
what
hitting them
we
all,
think
hitting all the bullets here.
that utopia should
And
look
to
like.
his credit, he's addressed
We
my
start
blueprint thing
with the idea of
already, and
applications.
is
Applications being
not quite there
primarily
on the corporate narrative
collections
yet.
of workflows.
He's getting there, though.
And you could come up with lots of ways to trigger these applications. The applications are all open now, but we have created automatically something called an application control agent. So this application control agent is just there. It knows how to read the workflows of that application. It knows how to take an input and find the right workflow and connect to it. And it knows how to do that using the LLM very narrowly. So it doesn't burn lots of tokens. It's super efficient. We burned our tokens in Blueprint. At runtime, the tokens here are just to semantically find, connect the right thing, and hook it together. And then if there's a step
Every time I put up a comment from Christopher, it literally covers up John.
Where AI and an agent makes sense, you can call either a customer agent or a third-party agent or a Pega agent for that step, to do that particular thing, to do a summarization, or to pull fields off of a document. So the AI here is strongly used.
Hey, I don't care if you block my head if a comment is good.
Giving you that predictability.
Christopher is one of the best, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really interesting person. I've never met him, but I'd like to.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to do this without having you write prompts. This whole business that people
This is
write
why you really do appreciate Pega and their approach. It's easy. They talk great. There's not a whole lot of fluff, and it's coming from right from the top.
And then they build the technology to support the talk.
We'll let you talk to any
I
application.
mean, how many years did they talk about inside out approach and layer cakes? And it's funny how now I'm hearing other vendors use some of those same terms. I didn't hear them use these terms before.
They wouldn't dare use layer cake because that was an award-winning
I
band.
did hear that recently.
And we know many of our customers don't just have one.
I would be
Pega system
suing
with
Jeff
workflows.
Nicholson and company.
But
The
you have a
old guy
multiplicity
should
of them.
sue.
And so we have created the agentic process fabric. The agentic process fabric uses a language model database, a vector database, to pull together and register all the workflows in all the different applications. And by either talking to this agentic process fabric or calling this agentic fabric, the entire power of all the workflows is available to you. Without reasoning, without wondering how it's figuring this thing out, without questioning how you could explain it to your auditors. This incredibly powerful design system that leverages AI enormously at design time, selectively using AI at runtime, provides the predictability of outcome and cost that we set out to do. And I will challenge you to tell me anybody else who is doing this, because we think this is.
It's interesting contrasting him to Larry Ellison's talk about technology.
But being able to do this,
Larry Ellison is
has allowed
bits and
us in
bytes. He's
releasing
literally down to the
Infinity 26,
ones and zeros.
which, by
This
the way,
guy's
I'm
like
using
the
in-house,
layer you need to
is
be
available
communicating
now for
at,
early
like
adopters.
5 layers up in the
Will
platform.
be available
He's still talking
all
about
around
their
the end of the
tech,
month.
but
Infinity 26
it's
without
not only
having to go
understandable,
write prompts
but it actually
like
sounds
you would have to
useful.
do in a Microsoft or Salesforce or a ServiceNow.
I just like the
Be able to
fact
get
that
all
he's
that power
directly addressing one of the key drivers of AI anxiety, which is cost.
exciting.
And nobody else has been as direct and specific about
Because
addressing
this
it.
is so structured and specialized in the way that it uses AI.
It's interesting because I know Creatio's conference is
We don't have to
next
charge
week, I
you.
think. And
So using
they
Pega
have their
AI
studio for a long
will
time,
not
which is their
accrue a
more
token
no-code studio than
And
anything else.
I think that
But I know
is
they're
marvelous
addressing AI now,
because
so it's
it
going to be
allows
interesting
you
how
to
they
focus on results.
present, given that
getting
as much
things
as
done.
these two are
ultimately,
not,
that's what
these
you
two are
wanna
like
do in your business.
semi-direct
wanna have to worry
competitors,
about
meaning
the
they'll
charges.
overlap here and
You
there,
want to be able to know,
but not
that you can
entirely
build
direct because these
systems,
guys play a
accomplish
little
things,
further up
get
market than
predictable outcomes,
Creatio
get
does.
predictable costs, and build for change. So with that, let me thank you all, invite you to the hub to see this for real, and tell you I think it's going to be a terrific show. Thank you, everybody.
And then go Knicks. They go
Very
Knicks.
well, very well done as usual.
Yeah, that was actually terrific.
I'll be curious to see if they touch on their outcome-based pricing, because that's also another very different
information officer
approach they're taking versus the all-you-can-eat token buffet.
So Brent, look at what this guy's title is.
Global
CIO.
morning, everyone.
I wonder how he's
It's
different from
great to be with
other
you
guy.
here today.
I don't know.
So I've been with MetLife about.
I guess we'll find
a
out
year
with
and a
you.
half
Good
now.
night.
Oh,
It's been
MetLife. I
17 years with
misheard.
Yeah,
it.
he's a
And,
customer.
Pega has been a great partner over those 20 years, so it's a real honor to follow Alan on stage.
You've been a customer, not a partner.
So now,
but okay.
this cartoon that I'm about to show you might be the most accurate summary of the AI market that I've seen. So, what do we want? AI. When do we want it?
Now.
Right now. So this is pretty
He's
familiar to all of
a
you.
little
right? This is
laid
what you
back
live
for that.
and feel
Yeah.
every day.
Hmm.
It's a little overwhelming at times, but this is what it is.
So that was the whole. Okay,
So,
he's still
next
going.
one.
Okay.
AI to do what? I don't know. Like, who knows, right? Now, it's about now that the risk and compliance folks start to freak out a little bit, and then they raise their hands. And they basically say, what about the risks? And then the answer is, we'll figure it out. Now, as Alan said, the large AI players are doing some great things, some really great and interesting things. But it's putting, and they have large marketing budgets. So it's putting a lot of pressure on managers and leaders to make progress with AI and to do it quickly. There's a push to democratize software development, to put tools in the hands of non-technical users, into the hands of business users. And it's, if you sort of think about it, it's the next step in like robotic process.
Yeah, I heard them yell now.
I thought that was what he was going for.
Yeah, he was.
Look at it, you
He
know,
was.
far enough back.
He just didn't do it
This
right,
time, I
but
feel
that's
like
okay.
it's on steroids.
Well,
Kind of
Now, the
it's a
problem-
little less. It's
the
not
problem
quite the enthusiasm.
Is that the control
He was going for the
environment
joke.
cannot keep up with the pace of change. If you think about all the things that your risk and compliance functions need to do, especially in global regulated financial institutions, it starts with like data access, data residency, data leaking into public models, the ethical use of AI in decision making, the over-proliferation of vendors, the cyber risk that comes from that over-proliferation of vendors, and now tokenomics and cost.
all right.
Now,
This is.
underpinning
Was
all
this
of these
Liz?
questions
No, this is
about-
That was
Adrian.
Adrian. I'm saying
is really
that
the
guy
question
directly
if AI will
directly
save
hit the
money in the
checkbox
long run.
theme.
Is the
Yeah.
juice going to be worth the squeeze? So gaining confidence in the control environment and in the economics requires a very intentional approach. You can't just wing it. You can't just put tools in the hands of users, in the hands of all your employees, and hope for the best. So at MetLife, we're taking a twofold approach with AI implementation. The first approach is really a bottom-up strategy powered by what we call citizen developers, putting tools in the hands of users in a structured way. The second approach is top-down, where we use or infuse AI into our business process re-engineering efforts. The end goal is to have the two approaches meet in the middle. Both approaches are iterative, have toll gates, and use automation to streamline the workflow. They're designed to increase confidence over time and ensure a balance between business value and tightened control.
To this guy's
The
credit,
bedrock of our strategy
he's
at
got
MetLife
it's,
is what we
he's
call
showing how
responsible
very
use of AI
deliberative these
policy.
guys are, and that's actually
Think of it as a
important.
multi-step workflow that brings
Yep.
together all your key stakeholders. Now, that cuts across
Another
people,
part of the corporate narrative for
compliance,
Pega, and
risk,
historically right
architecture,
to now, is
vendor
they have
management.
always had
Now, when we first
a
stood up
customer
this
on
project,
stage who
it was
supported the
painful.
transition
Like, it was
to the
really
new narrative in some,
Each
or to the
function had its own
extension of the
lens of
narrative
looking
in
at
some
risk.
way. And
It was
this guy
slow,
fulfills
it
that
used email to
perfectly.
coordinate,
They
and
had
wound up
somebody
asking
from
the users the same
I forget
questions
it was
or
a
variations of the same
the
question
British firm,
over and over again.
British Monetary
Now think about it. It's a manual
Agency.
process to implement AI.
When it was customer
Really
experience, I
not the
still
way you wanna
remember.
go.
Damn, I
So
can't
that's
think of
where
the name. of
Pega
it.
came into the story. For our bottom-up approach, we start with real use cases and allow teams to experiment, to learn and build confidence over time. The journey is intentional. We crowdsourced and selected relevant use cases, move them through our responsible use of AI review, put them into pilot or into production, or into a proof of concept, and then ultimately into production when we felt comfortable. Now, at each step, we weren't just progressing the solution, we were building organizational confidence. Pega provided a structured workflow that tracked each stage of that journey. It provided visibility into where use cases.
I like that they're trusting this, their customer to tell the story, their story.
That's their strength, actually. They're great. They do have great customers.
Yeah.
And they also have articulate ones.
Yeah, they do a good job of identifying the ones that are able to tell the story.
This is perfect
where you need
for where
a
they're
little more
going.
manual review. Now, while we encourage experimentation, we're also driving a more top-down transformation. And that's focused on re-engineering our large enterprise critical processes. It's a multi-year journey to fundamentally rethink areas like claims, call center operations, and other high-volume, high-impact workflows. It isn't just about layering AI into existing processes. It's about redesigning the process and then injecting AI at the right points for maximum leverage.
By the way, I really like this Keynote tactic of just letting the customer take over the stage. There's a little bit of a risk. You got to make the right choice, but it's just so much better to just trust your customer to tell their part of the story. None of this like couch massage, you know, over scripted questions thing. Just let them talk.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing I did learn from them a couple of years back, they told me, or 3 years ago, I guess, they told me that they choose the customer not just for the story itself, but for their ability to articulate it. Because I remember, you know, back in the day, I remember back in PeopleSoft days, they would just put a customer on stage because he was a customer, and they were often terrible. I still have horrible memories of Charles Schwab on the stage at the PeopleSoft conference. The worst thing I've ever heard. It gave me chills. It was so bad. And this is exactly the kind of person and story you want to. The person you want to tell the story and the story you want to hear.
So, Bergman, you had mentioned this as kind of one of your bullet points. Is he hitting what you were hoping to see and hear?
It took 45
Yeah,
to 60 days
because we're getting some real project details. You know, haven't quite heard about like all the pain points I would want to hear, but like we're getting into the heart of the story, which is, you know, he's getting details, but it's not like a webinar either. It's like, I think he's getting the right detail.
Greatly reduced, and instead of multiple handoffs,
and here you go, like this is really useful.
System to system. As a result, we've been able to reduce our policy issuance timelines by 40%. And also reduce our not in good order, that's like insurance speak for applications that need more information, by 40 to 50%. All in all, a really great story. So, whether it's bottoms up experimentation,
I wonder how they do work with the customers to make sure they get this kind of output from their customers. Like this is a perfect output of a customer story telling their own story on the stage. How do they work with them to get this? That's kind of what I'm interested in.
Well, you're there to ask.
Leaders have
I don't know if I'm going to just ask the right person, but this is there's a art and a science to this.
Oh yeah.
Are not in conflict.
Well, what I would say, and I don't know how Pega is doing this, but typically you start with something more like a webinar, you graduate to like a regional appearance. You don't suddenly put someone on a national stage out of nowhere. Typically you get comfortable with them, they get comfortable with you, and then you make the move.
And I'm guessing also that even though I mocked it slightly in the beginning when I said you're not a partner, you're a customer, they are partnering. You know, meaning they're a very close customer who they have continuous interaction. They're not a part of the partner ecosystem I'm concerned about, but they are partnered with, so they know them well.
Yep,
is really where I'm going with that.
And innovation is not just possible; it's repeatable, measurable, and trusted at scale. If you'd like to learn more, please join us at the breakout session at 1:15 in the Premier Ballroom. Thank you.
Good job, sir.
Yeah, you did it, man.
Yeah, he really did. It was one of the better ones. Pega almost universally has the
Please
best
welcome
customers.
Pega's Chief
on
Product
stage.
Officer, CRM Playaz.
Now we get the demos.
Yeah. But he's such a nice guy too, and it's always fun
Well,
to watch.
I didn't say that in a bad way. I think it's a good way. He's a great demo.
Look at that.
Good morning, everyone.
This
Big
guy without a
smile.
smile.
Mr. McEnroe.
I know.
I'm responsible for products here at Pegasystems.
That Turkish
It is great to
electricity.
be back here in Las Vegas for another amazing PegaWorld. You know, whenever we come to Las Vegas, it's always full of that energy. There's always that excitement in Vegas. But this year,
Was that a live or a video of a live view? I
is
guess.
absolutely nothing to compare to the excitement around artificial intelligence. We all know that there's a giant wave of AI that is crashing onto the shores of every company around the world.
We're the vultures. No.
That's actually a very scary wave they have up
Definitely
there.
impressive. And sometimes AI can be a little scary. And I say scary because, well, first of all, we know that it's starting to get very expensive. And AI is not really known for its precision or accuracy all the time. So don't expect predictable outcomes just from your prompts. Like last week, I was in the kitchen. I was baking chocolate chip cookies for the family. We had our family dog Muffin with me. And I said to my AI, I'm like, hey, create me an image of this lovely family moment.
Damn.
That's what we got back.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
But we all know that this
There's something seriously wrong here.
Yes, very, very wrong.
Yeah, that's not. Oh wow, the sound effect.
We've all seen this before, right? You know, AI sometimes just gets it wrong.
Damn.
and you
Oh
have to go
my
in there and correct it.
God.
But then again, it was just last Wednesday. I was talking to AI. We're having this long conversation. And I'm like, look, you and I have known each other for the last 3 years pretty well. You know everything about me. You know all my questions about technology, business, money, cooking, life, family. You know all my questions. You know all my concerns. You know everything about me. You know me better than any of my family. You know me better than my friends. Actually, you are my best friend.
Oh wow.
Oh, so sad. So I said, look,
I don't even know what to say here.
create me an image of what you think I look like. Guess what?
Uh-oh.
AI
Please don't
came
show the
back
cupcake again.
I don't want to see that again.
Oh, yeah.
photo quality.
Where's
Look
the
at
vultures in the background, though?
Really uncanny resemblance. So AI always comes back very confident, right? But it's not always very accurate. When the AI is graphical, yeah, you can spot the mistakes or the perfections. But if the mistakes are buried in thousands and thousands of lines of code, well, you know, that's not so easy to see.
The only thing I would say
We
here
all
is
know
that they're comparing
AI-generated code
with
is
consumer
very verbose.
prompting. A lot of
And I'm
their
really having
enterprise
thousands of
competitors are doing
engineers
something much more
generating
sophisticated now. They're
extensive
just
lines of
relying on
code.
prompts. So
It's
this
not gonna work
this
out
analogy is a
swimmingly
little
for
bit
those
dated. I would like to
mission-critical
see them update
applications.
this a little bit.
Right? How do you spot the obvious mistakes?
But
How do you find the muffin?
the point
in all
stands,
this?
which is unreliability is still a factor.
Oh, there he is. Such a good boy. So
So
the
that, well,
question
it's a good
isn't
point
whether
about
we're gonna
finding
use
the,
AI
the
or not.
mistakes
Of
in
course
code
we're going to
versus the
use
visual
AI.
ones.
But
Yep.
how do we use AI to make things more simpler and not more complicated?
Adrian liked the picture.
We're all out there
Oh yeah, let
trying
me
to
push that
deliver
up there.
experiences
That was
for our
that
employees
picture's
and
still
for
in
our
my
end
mind, man.
customers that are easy,
Ugh.
simple, and fast. And we are trying to, every company is trying to deliver that seamless experience across an enterprise architecture that looks something like this,
Oh god.
right? Things that are already really complicated. But AI, I do believe AI
Access
gives us an
database.
incredible
Jesus.
opportunity to tackle that legacy transformation problems. Every organization in this room has a bunch of old applications that are currently running mission critical operations. Some of these run back to the 80s and 90s. They're written in languages that no one speaks.
Have to check that out.
Some of them are from vendors that don't exist anymore. And many of them are operating on hardware that you can only buy on eBay. And if I had to guess, they're not really running the latest security patches. So AI gives us an incredible opportunity to break free from all these outdated applications and modernize them to cloud native, AI-enabled.
I know, Liz.
It's
We've
really.
been partnering with AWS to make this
I'll
journey
never look at
easier
AI
and
the
much
same.
more straightforward. And to dig deeper into this partnership, I'd like to invite from AWS, Omri Kessel on stage. So please help me welcome him.
There you go, Paul, and partners.
First one.
All right, Omri, thank you so much for joining us today. I was wondering if you could start with introducing yourself and telling our audience what you do at AWS.
Pleasure being here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Why are they so far
Happy to talk
apart?
to all of you. I'm the general manager of agentic AI modernization at AWS. And our mission is to migrate.
Looks like Liz is also struggling with the dog muffin.
Evergreen.
Not alone, man. Not alone.
By default. And the legacy
That was literally arguably in the realm of
pool of compute
creepiest thing since
that no one were
Jason.
able to move to the cloud because it was humanly impossible. So that's the problem that my team and myself are trying to tackle and solve.
And that's obviously a very serious mission. But Omri, having these systems,
I'm guessing that this might sound peculiar, but I'm guessing they're deliberately that far apart so that the camera people could give them individual shots as opposed to two together.
It's not about the cost.
Yeah,
I like that. I don't understand why they're at that distance. It would make no sense unless it's for that.
They are not happy with the
I'm interpreting the camera shots. That's the only possible explanation to me.
Usually what he's doing is cut the cost.
But then again, I'm not AI.
And modernization of the RAN. However, there are two existential drivers that push toward modernization. The first one is the business want to change, but the legacy stack holds them, doesn't let them. You want to introduce a change, the system, where do I change? How do I change? The second one is the knowledge. People that build this application, leaving the organization, and reading code is very simple. You can find people that can do that anywhere. But understand why it was built. What are the assumptions that were taken? This is extremely difficult. And as soon as that knowledge goes out the door, you can no longer introduce safely changes.
He just brought up a really interesting word, which was the assumptions.
No vendor can go in this company.
Don't hear that much, but he's absolutely on the money with that one.
Basically, one is
what are the assumptions that were being made?
With the changes in the
I mean, you can put that inside a context, but
the people
it's a specific thing that's really important.
That basic mindset in place to drive those changes. And organizations have been talking about this for years now. What changed? Like, why is now really the right time to do this?
For 25 years, the issue wasn't about the cutoff.
I don't know where Paul just went, but
the legacy
hopefully
system into the modernized system. It was always about understand what the legacy system was actually doing.
Keep an eye out.
What we were able to do with AWS Transform is to collapse that time to understand into a matter of hours. So from years into hours. And we are not doing it just by throwing it into the token either or the LLMs or whatever you want to call them. And you know why? Because if you do that, you will get muffin at the end. A complete.
Did he say you'll get muffin?
Like what you want to do.
I do not want to hear that reference again.
By the way. also the capital.
Sorry, if literally a fuse blew.
Wow.
So
I thought you were really,
I just ran down to the panel and turned it back on.
I thought you were really steamed at the muffin image still.
Exactly
That's
what
right.
this code is doing.
I was off
And
going to
then,
adopt
only
a
then,
dog
use
and
the LLM just at picky
just to
point for
protect
this
it from
thing
being a
and
muffin.
understand what was the intent behind the code, how it was built, why it was built like that. And as a result, we create a specification for all the codes that keep traceability from the specification.
This is really,
all the way
I
to the
think,
line
really
of code
important,
in
actually,
the legacy system.
when you talk about the
And we are
legacy
doing
apps
it
that are out there that are still
matter of an afternoon.
in use, but
A customer
ancient,
with
nobody
6
knows
million
unless
lines of
they
code
built it,
in 2.5
which probably
hours
is going to be the
gained
case.
the understanding of the
Having this kind of
application.
partnership around
An
to help
insurer with
change it into something that people,
million
millions
lines
of people are
code
going to be able to
in a
deal with
couple of days
at some
gain
point,
the
and
full
agents also.
understanding of their environment. So it's not about the old now faster. It's a new enabler to go and modernize the application.
Yeah.
And I've heard you speak about basically doing all this at the compute speed rather than at the human speed, running through all these lines of code and understanding how they work. Could you share with our audience here, how does Pega actually come into this picture with what we do at AWS Transform?
Yeah, you know, since the understanding the code is not the bottleneck. And by the way, we're not just doing it for COBOL. Personally, I feel like the Indiana Jones of languages. Every customer I go and meet,
Didn't expect that comparison, but okay.
it's like the transformation of Doom. So with that, we are going and collapse the speed in several hours, identify both the different workloads and business processes exist in the system. At AWS, we are doing the understanding and the forward engineering. But when we are finding
They both love that, apparently.
that is workflow heavy, no one is better to our customer.
Yes, you really are.
Well, and it was a concern of both of you at the same time.
Yeah, the token is what is the tokenization.
No, Liz was, yeah, and Liz was token maxing, and he was token economic. Token economy or token economics?
Tokenomics.
Tokenomics.
At real time.
And we love that story. So as
you guys sitting
AWS
next to each other?
analyzes these millions of lines and understands the purpose of the code base, when you identify that this is a workflow-centric use cases, then the output, that structured output of AWS Transform, it feeds into Pega Blueprint to give the opportunity to reimagine the vision. So as our joint customers engage with us, what should they expect from this experience?
Yep. So we are looking at the code. We run in a matter of hours an assessment that identify, I call it the workload hunter. And in a matter of 3 hours,
Workflow
we
hunter?
identify the workload.
I think that's what he said, the workflow hunter?
People want to go and modernize. Then, in 3 weeks, we are creating a POC for a customer.
You're giving more details on this stuff than I heard from others.
3 months, that workload in production, running.
Normally, I don't like that, but
Goals
this
are the day of
is actually quite
multi-years
good.
science fiction. I go and convert your
I just
system.
think this helps
Going workload by
alleviate some of
workload,
the AI anxiety.
reducing the risk of the overall modernization, and prove that we know how to do it the best on the market together with Pega.
No more 5-year projects?
Nothing anymore.
Well, thank you, Omri, Indiana Jones Kessel, for your help today. I really appreciate your partnership.
Pleasure being here and enjoy the conference.
Indiana Jones. All right.
It has been terrific working with Omri and his team at AWS Transform, helping our joint clients really deliver results on legacy transformation initiatives.
A general statement here between Alan and Karam. They're really good presenters because you feel like they're talking the same way they would be off the stage as on. It's just more conversational and understandable.
Yeah, and they talked about legacy transformation, which was nice. Most vendors won't use the word legacy on stage, so I give them a lot of credit for just being honest that needs to happen.
We're going to imagine a moment that really matters. It's great to be with all of you leaders and engineers this morning who are actually redefining how work gets done. We're all focused on improving those very important customer experiences. Today, I'll be actually talking about what it really takes to modernize at enterprise scale without slowing our
John, they're hitting your bullet point hard, man.
Because of companies like ours, this is never
Well, you know, it's
Dude,
an
they're going after it.
Remember an extension of last year's discussion on blueprint modernizing legacy applications, right? I mean, it's not, again, consistency is right there.
As one of the most important moments.
This is
when
a
we
broadening
have a
of it.
policyholder who needs to file a claim.
It sounds obvious, but I can't tell you how many vendors have like left the audience like wondering, how do I get there? So this is really important.
The working world to thrive throughout life's moments. We're constantly evolving to deliver better outcomes for our customers in those critical moments. This also means, for example, for us, we're really looking at our claims process and focusing on re-engineering that into more of a unified single customer experience. The results that we're aiming for are sometimes simple to say, but as we all know, they can often be difficult to achieve. We're focused on faster time to deliver, fewer manual processes and touch points, faster decisions and faster payments to our customers. And most importantly, even in this age of AI, we're focused on a much more human-centered experience to drive the value and to drive that customer experience. That is our North Star at Unum Group. So let me set the stage for you for just a minute. Unum Group is an insurance company, and yes, we've actually been serving customers for well over 175 years.
Damn.
So with that, you can imagine a lot of us in a little bit more mature companies, I'll say, probably share a similar reality. Yes, we have layers and layers of technical debt, legacy systems. We have multiple systems doing the same work in many different ways, many times over. We have rules that are locked inside of all of this different legacy code base. Our mainframe-based claims processing have been doing a really great job for us all of these years. They've actually been processing millions of claims and doing it pretty well with accuracy. But where we're at today is those same mainframe-based systems are actually limiting us. The speed and the expectations around speed just aren't there today. So this complexity that we have in all of these legacy systems has actually quietly become the tax that we're all paying on the ability to innovate. And at the same time, everything around us is changing, and it's not just AI. Our customer expectations are accelerating, compliance and regulatory requirements are accelerating, and yes, our competitive pressures, and of course, everything that's coming with us in this ecosystem of
This is
AI.
a hugely important point, that the whole environment is changing. It's not just about, oh, techno wizardry. Like, you need to change because your customers' expectations have changed. That's the right
Without breaking
message.
the bank, as you heard previously.
Once again, coming directly from a customer in the middle of all this.
Yep.
A 3 to 5 year investment.
Yeah. When customers like speak to that, that's powerful because now they're nudging their peers.
Then also, how do you consider making those significant choices around investing in modernization compared to the value creation that you can get in your everyday investments? So this has been part of the challenge. So for us, we actually made an intentional choice. We weren't going to focus on just lifting and shifting off of the mainframe. We actually wanted to focus on solving those customer challenges and removing barriers. We actually had multiple windows, multiple.
There is one thing I wish they would do a little bit more than they do, which is, and this is historic really, but they focus when their customers are on stage, 95 out of 100, so to speak, maybe more, in one way or the other in financial services. and they don't tend to
empathy really
seem as if they have any other
And then we also
impact
wanted
in
to
other
deliver
industries,
solutions
right?
for our business
They do.
period.
They've done this every
And
year,
then be
really.
able
I
to
mean, it's
scale
not that.
them
I mean, what
many
Unum,
times.
what
Same thing
insurance,
across
if I
the
remember
business.
right, and
We can use that same process across
the other one was
departments.
MetLife, right?
You're
So,
getting that rapid
you know,
return on investment many
and
times.
remember I was talking about
So
that
rather
one I
than
said
simply
was a
ask,
brilliant customer
do we just
story
exit
on
the mainframe? We
customer
actually asked,
experience, and I
how
remembered
do
it was
we
Lloyd's of
actually
London,
leapfrog
right?
forward
So
while
one way or the
everything's
other,
still
you're dealing
running?
with financial
That timing
services of
matters for
some
us.
kind, and I know that's their strength.
So
I mean, they have a
internally, we didn't position
huge,
this as just
huge
yet another IT
presence in
modernization.
financial
We
services,
actually
but
positioned it
there are
as
a lot of
much
other
more of a
industries
true
that would be
business
nice to see the
transformation,
customers or
grounded
the
in
partners
significant
from,
outcomes
and I don't.
driving
They
value
just
to our
tend
business,
not to
and
do
actually
that.
making sure that we're measuring that. So,
Mm.
what are we looking for? Claims
Yep.
decisions made faster, improving our customer experience, payments issued
And even
sooner,
if you remember last year,
and also
the
a platform that
where they
ultimately
showed
will allow
Blueprint
us
converting their legacy
to move
application,
into new
it
products
was
faster than ever
financial
before.
services again.
But of course, for us, everything starts with making
Yeah,
sure that we're
I remember
entering into
that
that intended business
COBOL
value.
program
Yeah.
that the video
What
was
matters
explaining, and that
to our
turned into a
customers,
blueprint somehow.
Yeah,
to
no,
our
and it was great,
specialists,
but
Yeah.
and to our
same
business.
industry. It's just it would
Once
be
we were
good to
aligned
see
on all of
them
those three questions, we
step out
actually
of
then
their reach,
got to
and they
work.
kind of did with the partner, which was
So for us,
AWS. But
reimagining
that
is
that one
actually
can be kind of broadly
redefining our
interpreted as
experiences
backbone
through the
too.
eyes
You know,
of our
so I'm not really looking there. I'm
Staying
looking
anchored
for
once again to those
effectively
business
other
outcomes.
industry
Two
per
important
se.
measurements for us are average handle time and higher CSAT. If we're not improving that speed
I
and
actually used to
satisfaction,
recommend that to them when
then
I
we're
would do
actually
advisory
not
work, but they
achieving the
never listened.
ultimate goals for the enterprise. We're moving from manual to automated, meaning those processes are happening pretty seamlessly. We're also focusing on moving from fragmented to unified. That means, for
It
example,
would be
moving
nice,
from
like,
the 7 tools
I
and
mean,
7 windows to a
they
single
have some
platform
serious
with a
traditional
single
businesses that are
end-to-end
really
experience.
old, like 175 years.
Underneath all of
And
these shifts
of course,
is
the
actually the
first two
foundational work
customers,
that we're doing,
Citi
reducing
and
our
Bank of
manual
America,
footprint and
I mean,
building a modern platform
they are who
that
they
can
are.
take advantage of these emerging
It would be cool to
technologies
see
and no longer
a
have
different use case or a different
including
customer
capabilities that we
story
haven't even
kind of
reimagined yet.
spotlighted.
That's the story that I'm most
Yeah,
excited
well,
to
let's say a
share.
company that's
And
been
our work
around
is
for
focused on
7 years
extracting from what we have. So think
or
about
10
that
years
existing
instead
I'll
of
go
data,
170.
reimagining the experience from the customer lens
Well, I mean,
up.
if you're making a
And
legacy
this
case,
is heading to where
175-year-old
it's
companies are
headed.
probably good ones to choose.
So
Yeah.
for us, we're
Yeah.
really looking at legacy doesn't have to be looked at as a liability. It actually is an opportunity.
But I
And
guess
with the
that also
right
points
approach
you to
and the right
seeing where
partners,
their
you
sweet
can
spot
unlock
really is
the
right
full
now in terms
potential
of,
had to drive great
you know,
value for your business.
going after some good
So we
customers.
actually
Oh,
partnered
yeah. Well, and again, a lot of the financial
and
services companies are as old as this one,
focus on doing
right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, remember I said Lloyd's of London. What's that,
early
about
stages
400
for
years
us, so
old?
it is still test and learn, but we're
I
excited
remember
about
Lloyd
this
when he was a
promise.
toddler.
Even now, we're already seeing how AI
I remember
can
when we was
accelerate
on Dumb and
understanding our
Dumber.
design and execution in ways that would have been much more difficult and harder to achieve.
Program, I know you might have to jump off at
First of
some
all,
point.
AWS Transform has helped us to
Yeah, I'm
simplify
probably in
production
like
in
maybe
about
10,
1.5 million lines.
Okay.
but I'm
Called
trying to stick it out as long as I can because
some of that actually
this
well
keynote is
over 2
vying
years.
for my top
And
3,
it's
and I'm a pretty
automatically now producing
grouchy
structured
keynote
Yeah, I know.
ranker.
understanding.
This is
I'm
vying for
not.
my
Platform
top one at the
services
moment.
This is quite strong. This
Then
has
we
really
leverage
been
Pega
a
Blueprint, which
display
allowed our
of
teams to
real force.
reimagine the
The only thing I
logic
would say to
and
Paul's point on
transform
partners is
decades of embedded business
to really show the
rules
strength of your
into
partner
modern
ecosystem, you really got to show
workflow
someone
designed
that's a little
design.
more
Then
nimble
we have multiple end-to-end
and
claims
creative than
workflows that
AWS. Not
once
the
were in multiple
AWS segment was great because it's
that are
about
now redesigned
helping people
into a
modernize,
single
but they need
unified
one
flow.
more partner up there, I think,
So
I
to
agree.
really
just imagine
to
what does that
slam it
make
home. But
possible? We
this
now have
beautiful
teams that
keynote.
actually
It's very
Well,
well
understand
done.
they kind of
legacy
need, I think,
environments that were
if
difficult
I'm
to
looking at it in the
integrate.
biggest, broadest messaging
Stakeholders are
theme,
engaging much
like
sooner
we
because
also
they're using
handle
these workflows
companies of a
and then our
modern in the
teams, of
modern
course,
age
loving us
too,
because they're
Yeah,
able
right?
to
yeah,
move
yeah.
Yeah,
faster
to
without
your
some of
point.
the limitations that we had
Yep.
Hey,
previously
by the way,
talked about.
Liz was in agreement
And for us,
on
that
the
means a cloud-ready
Yep.
foundation that
Customer
can
base.
enable the faster.
Yeah,
case
very
processing
strong.
that we talked
Very
Yeah,
strong.
every one of
more
them. This one
consistent
too.
experiences for our customers.
Overall,
Easier broker integration.
at the moment, unless something comes to derail it, last week I was, or
Foundation
last,
for
was it 2 weeks
leveraging
ago,
these AI
was
capabilities in the
PegaWorld.
future.
I mean,
And for us, it wasn't just
knowledge
about
2026.
actually a
That was a
reinvention of
strong
AI
keynote.
as
It
the
was good.
center
And it was
enabler
kind of my
and
favorite because it
capability.
started with governance,
Opportunity
and
for
it
all
kind
of
of
us is
focused there.
absolutely
This
enormous.
one was
We see real
number
opportunity
one
in
at
the
the
ability
moment
to reuse these
for me
Yeah,
capabilities,
so
for the whole
far,
understand
year.
what works,
yeah.
and realize that
Mainly
it will
because
make
they
value
address some
over
of the
time,
biggest
not just for a
anxiety
single
points that
workflow,
customers
but
have.
across the entire
And of course,
ecosystem.
Alan did it in only the way Alan can.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Had
literally
failures and
addressing
things didn't go
pretty much
perfectly.
everything that needs to
Our
be
mainframe
addressed,
was actually
period.
much more
Right? I mean,
complex than we
minus,
thought.
I'm sure
Our delivery time went
we can
shipping
all
slower.
nitpick to some
And
things,
of
like
course,
I'm
the
nitpicking about other
transformation
industries, but
never goes exactly
on the
as
whole,
planned.
if
It never
I'm picking a
pauses while
keynote
your
that actually
strategy
gets
evolves.
across
It
what needs to
actually
be gotten
happens through
across, this
it.
has been the one.
So like everyone here, we're constantly
And it's
evaluating
the universal points as well as the specific
and trying
Pega
to scale
capabilities.
against those other priorities in the
Yeah,
company. And this
a
is one
good
of the most challenging
strong
balances that we
finish and
have.
put the
Some
cherry on
things
top.
actually went very
I'm
well for us.
with John though on that.
First,
A good
AI
strong
is
finish
an
would be
accelerator.
another partner
AWS
that's a little more
dramatically
contemporary,
reduced our reliance
Yep.
on that scarce COBOL expertise.
that leans to the right brain a
Blueprint
little bit.
absolutely enabled that rapid prototyping.
Yeah, because one of the
speed
really
that really
exciting things
previously
about so-called
unavailable.
AI age is
Our business
nimble
engagement
industry
was
partners cropping up that can really help
getting those workflows
customers
in
in
play
particular
matters.
industries
And to me,
transform.
most importantly, you
People
heard
that
this
know their
briefly
business
earlier.
inside and out that now
Cultural
can build the
shift and the
tools much more
mindset
effectively to
change
help
that's
them.
happening when you
And
see this in play.
anyway,
Moving from
Pega wouldn't be the
simply
only
understanding
vendor to
something
stumble on
that
that
works
because
to
vendors
actually
often like to
reimagining
feature
some
their
of the new
keynote.
capabilities
You
at
know,
work
they're sort of
in a
like
much
the
faster
partners
time
that
frame.
carry a lot of the
And
weight,
for all of their
but
threat
it
tests,
doesn't
I
give the
actually believe
customer
we're
enough
sitting in
imagination. Because
emergency
what you want to
refinement.
do right now
For
is you
those
want
of you that
customers
have
to hit the show
COBOL,
floor after the keynote.
we
So you
certainly
want
have
to give them a
kudos for
flavor of what they
both.
might find out there that they weren't
It's been probably
expecting.
10 plus years
And
that
the
most
irony is,
about 85% have
if you
actually
if you
removed COBOL
de-emphasize
curriculums. So we
Blueprint's
no longer are seeing
legacy
entities coming
transformation
out with
side,
training for
it
volume.
literally
Nor do
fulfills
the
what you're
new
talking
engineers
about
coming
as a
out
tool.
today have a desire to work in these legacy code bases. So we really need to get to work on that. So some of the things that we've learned that we're actually applying are those tight feedback loops between your
You know, at first, when she
AI
first
engineers,
started, I
subject
thinking,
matter
uh-oh, this is
experts,
going to
our
sound
team,
really scripted, but
the
it doesn't.
clear design governance
To her
that
point,
you
I'm
heard
sure it
speak
is
about
scripted, but
previously,
but
also
the
important.
reality, she's doing a
Repeatable
good job of
modernization
presenting this.
patterns will evolve and you'll be able to reuse those.
I think I
One
just
of the
sort of
things
reacted
that's
to it.
most
Well,
important to us,
what
of
I'm
course,
going to
is
do
the training and
today,
education
when you
that
hear that, you
exists
immediately
to
think,
ensure
uh-oh,
that your engineers
rehearse
are
through the
skilled,
roof.
and then also so
She's
that they have the
she's
ability
killing
to
it.
understand
No, she is. She's doing a
She's
great
absolutely
job.
killing it.
I agree with you.
POC, so you can actually drive value in your
And I'm
businesses.
sure other customers
reality
in this
check in mind, I'll
position
give you
are
a little bit
relating
of a
to
look
everything
into
she's
where we're
saying.
headed.
Yep.
So
Well,
now,
again,
of course, we
financial
have
services
legacy
is the
claims
power
that
they have, and I
analyzed,
guarantee,
documented. We have
and I'm
multiple
not defending them for
workflows
not having
that have
other
been
partners or other customers
blueprint.
here, but
We've actually
I
shifted
guarantee a
from
large percentage
conceptual
of the
architecture
audience
to
is,
real
if I'm picking a single
application use.
percentage of the audience,
Where we're going
financial
next, we're going
services
to
is
continue
dominant.
scaling that, continue working and rolling
That's
out
who shows
more
up at these events,
capabilities.
always.
And in the future, just imagine a future where all of your claims
One reason I used to
will be
like, I still like
in
PegaWorld.
And long term, the possibilities for us are
The
limitless.
customers who
We think
show
about
are just
AI
really
generated
interesting
claim
people.
summaries as an opportunity, intelligent coaching, guiding our specialists.
Still remember my
knowledge
favorite two from
assistants
San
embedded in
Diego.
our daily work,
Best friends and stand-up
complexity and
comedians
prediction
besides,
and fraud
as well as
detection,
know their crap.
as
I
well
want
as
to say
that modern
shit.
self-service experience that
You
I
just
talked
said
about,
it, so
which
it's
is
I know
okay.
I
for
did.
all of
I
us,
did.
that absolutely
It sounded
makes
better
us
than
reach
crap.
our
That's why.
expectations.
It actually
This
literally
work
sounds
unlocks
more like they know their
functionality.
stuff.
It gives us that
Not that
foundation
what they
that
knew
can
was
be
crap.
replicated across our business areas time and time again. Also,
I really do hope she wraps it up soon because you don't want to go too long on some of this stuff.
Right.
We actually started with one simple belief.
But it doesn't sound.
When people come to us in life's most important moments, they deserve not just service, but the speed, clarity, compassion, and confidence. While technology can accelerate transformation, it's vision that gives it direction, courage that gives it momentum, and purpose that gives it meaning. So as you leave the room today, say, I would
Okay, here
like
she is.
to carry just one question with you. What would be possible if you stopped treating legacy as a constraint and actually started treating it as an opening to free your teams to do what they do best, to replace complexity with clarity and friction with flow, and an opportunity to build.
But see, you're not really treating legacy as that. You're treating legacy transformation as the opportunity, not legacy.
Organizations that have waited for the perfect roadmap, the perfect timing, or the perfect starting point. It will belong to those.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make legacy sound so great.
Right.
It's just, let's face it, it's not great. If you could snap your fingers overnight and get rid of it, you would.
Yeah, and the word legacy actually has a meaning that basically is saying leftover. Right.
Yeah, but you know, one of the things that we talk about is how these LLMs are basically taking over, let's see, insights and other things, but it can't take over experiences. I think that's part of what she was talking about with legacy, kind of the experience.
With AWS and Pega.
Look at the word.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about these
There
technologies.
you go.
I think
there's your
But
phrase.
it's that experience that
My fourth bullet.
So what I want to show you is how AI plays a central role throughout your journey, from design to build to run. And each step of the way, Pega will provide a visual
So this is where he's going to be talking about
so you can actually
the costs and the tokens and stuff.
understand what we're working on without
Or
having
he's
to
going to
read
wrap it
those
up.
thousands and thousands of lines of code. So let's start talking about how we
No,
design.
I don't think so.
Oh my God, they're only at the middle one of the three.
That's what I said. I don't think they're getting ready to wrap
No,
it up.
even the middle one. They're at the first one.
Because Blueprint is
Oh my
extremely
God, this is
powerful.
gonna, he's starting to lose first
Very
place.
simple to use.
No,
Yeah,
this is just
enterprise-grade
the second,
agentic
third.
workflows, but you can learn how to use it in under 10 minutes. And we call it Blueprint because just like if you're building a home for your family, enterprise applications also need a solid foundation and a great design before you actually start to build. And when we launched Blueprint about 2 years ago, the Blueprint AI agents allowed us to draw the overall framework of the application, the shape of what your application will look like, and it was great. But as the AI agents in Blueprint became more powerful, we were able to capture more details on how the applications will work and get a clear perspective of how people would actually experience the application that they would build from their blueprint way before they build it. And with what you'll see with the latest capabilities of Blueprint AI, we've gotten to the point where the finer, more intricate details of this construction can be captured and perfected in this design period. So let me show you what these latest capabilities of Blueprint looks like. So we're going to start designing an agentic workflow application together. You remember this guy? Well, it turns out this is some guy named Enrique McConnell, and he's going to join our team here at Pegasystems. And when he comes on board, he's going to need more than a t-shirt and a hat. Like maybe he'll need some, someplace to sit. Maybe he'll need a laptop. So we're going to quickly design a employee onboarding application.
Maybe he'll need a
using
makeup artist.
So let's get my laptop up. And we'll need a critical piece of technology to do this. Yep, I found it. All right. Nothing works without it. All right, so you see my screen. A lot of you have seen Blueprint before. It's very easy to use. It's available to all of you at pega.com/blueprint. I tell the name and the purpose of my application, and I click generate.
All right, guys, duty calls. I'm going to leave it here.
All right, sir.
I will say that we're still in the top 3, but they got to stick the landing. And we shall see. You guys can decide if they stick the landing here. We shall see.
Sir. Thank you so much, as always. I love
Yeah.
you. Big hug.
Always great to see you guys.
All right, see ya.
And one of my favorite new capabilities, most powerful new capabilities.
What are we going to do with Adam?
Is the AI assistant.
There's a component to Keynotes where there's a time. I think you have to stick the time.
Yeah.
And as good as this has been, they're about to go way over.
Yeah. This is supposed to end at what? 1?
And what I want to do is this.
I don't know.
I actually want to split it
I'm
into
just
separate
saying,
workflows, and maybe one for laptop, another one for the for
most
mobile
keynotes
devices.
you should be able to do in an hour
I'm
and
gonna say
15 at max.
Yep. And let's see if this started. It started relatively on time, right?
Yeah, it did.
So they're at an hour 45 already.
One for laptop.
No, hour 15.
Oh, that's right. That was at 12. My time, 9 yours.
All right.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
it's
hour
doing
15.
well. He's going to understand what I really mean. He's going to look at the context. He's going to do his reasoning.
I mean,
He's
this
gonna
is
come back
important
and boom.
stuff.
I took that one workflow, split it
Because
into
this is
two.
the evolution of blueprint, like one of the things you
It
were
shows me what I
gonna look
changed,
at.
which I think is critical. So I am happy to go next. Now that we define those four workflows, again, the AI agents behind Blueprint is going to come back and it's going to give me a definition of an end-to-end process of what that workflow will do when it executes. And I can clearly see it. I can understand it. I can see the automated steps. I can see the business rules. I can see the integrations. I can see the human steps. I can see the AI agentic steps that Alan mentioned before. All of it is clearly visible to me. I can look at it. I can understand it. And if there's something that I want to change, well, I'll just go back to my best friend and I'm like, hey, there's something we need to change. For example, I want to make sure that, there's some document that comes in. I want to make sure that the laptop serial number matches to what's being shipped. And I'm going to use this new capability that we have called the document
That's
agent.
Keynote format. Hey, y'all, one AI. Here you go.
Look at content, like documents and PDFs, and be able to extract data and map the structured result back into the process. So instead of a human just flipping through pages and pages of documents, the AI agents in there will just do it for me. I'm going to say, hey, add a step to extract laptop number from shipping slip, so we can match it. All right.
I have to actually expand my view of this because I can't see it with the StreamYard view I have.
Good.
There's a lot of stuff on the screen.
New step right here.
I just made it full screen, everybody.
It's calling the AI agent. It's going to match the data records extracted out of the document, match it into workflow. We are good to go. So I'm pretty happy with that. And now I'm going to move to the next stage of the journey.
He's literally typing it.
Step talks about the data and the integrations. And for those of us who have done enterprise
I do too. I like that as well. The chief product officer is the one doing the demo.
Applications are going to need to integrate
That tells you how much he literally is invested in this.
Process to complete the processing. And this is usually
he himself is a presence. He's got presence, and he's just really good at what he does.
Well, think about it. Kareem, Alan, Don.
Yep.
They all have that.
And of course, Tara.
Tara the Wow, of course.
Our star.
And I'll be talking with her later today.
I know. That's actually one of the things I'm definitely going to miss doing is that as a CRM Playaz thing. I love Tara. I adore her. I think she's one of the great people I know. Everything about her personality as a whole, her knowledge, and just how warm a human being she is. And exuberant, for that matter.
The Pega application.
Oh yeah, she saw us yesterday, and it was exuberant. Very much. We're very happy.
She's the greatest.
But this data comes from
one of the people in the industry I'm happy that I was in the industry to get to know.
To be able to get that data or maybe even update it. And then if you go all the way to the right, well, those are the systems that you're integrating with.
Do you have any general comments on how soon a demo should be introduced during a keynote?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
is going to be sourced.
I guess it would be one of two possible places, depending on the sequence. Sometimes when they're following a specific line around a product announcement,
you actually can see this
you get
immediately
conversation,
what are the core
frame
data
it,
elements,
then you get kind of a discussion of it, then you get a demo or a customer, and then the other one,
talks about how
right?
people actually
So
authenticate
that
the
sequence, and that
system, right? And so
can be,
obviously
that'll be
security is key.
in effect a
And right
product
beneath that,
discussion
there's a list
toward
of
the
inbound events.
it's, I would say basically the demo, then the customer. Okay, so in effect, the third of the four segments that normally
inbound
happens,
events
and it's kind
are
of
all
normal
the
there. In
different
something
ways
like this,
other
it's a little
systems,
more
other
fluid. It's
applications,
partly
other
depending on the
agents
flow of the
are
conversation.
going to
This
call
one's
in
being done
to
at the
your
right
automated
time.
processes in
What
Pega.
it may be
So
is
how do
too
you
big.
expose these processes to be available,
What-
to be
I don't know.
exist
Where do you
within
see
your
a Kafka
ecosystem?
message?
And there's many ways.
We're
to
not
come
seeing the whole
into
screen.
to these
I mean,
automated
Kafka is
processes.
known
And
for, of
you
course,
saw in
his
Alan's center out
piece on
architecture.
cockroaches.
So you can have
Yeah, I guess
APIs coming and
we're only
execute them.
seeing a
You
box
can have
of the whole
humans sign
thing,
on to the system.
so we're
You
not
can see the
seeing
screens.
everything that
You can have
Adrian is
emails that
seeing
are
in the
basically
room.
sent into the application. As of this latest release in Pega, every application that you build and every single one of their workflows are available as an MCP server. So these processes can participate in agentic orchestration.
That's
you can
big.
throw files, you can send in queues. There's
Well, I
many
mean,
other
again,
ways to come in at the system, and this
2024,
lets
I
you
told,
configure it
2025, I told
directly
Alan
in this
that if I
preview
had
space
had
and
a product
understand
of
how
the
it's
year, it was Blueprint, without any question.
Now, the next step
And Alan
is
asked me, I
different
remember,
personas that are going
he
to
said,
participate with the
why didn't you have a
Who's
product
going
of
to
the
come in
year?
here? Who's going to use the application?
I still remember that.
I remember 2 years ago meeting, just running into Kara Manton and just asking her, can you walk me through this blueprint thing? She wasn't on my schedule or anything. I didn't even know her. She said, oh, sure. And that was the first year of Blueprint. They had literally just announced it. And seeing what it was able to do then was impressive. And then last year, the update was impressive. And now I'll get an update on that. So it'll be a 2-year anniversary of Blueprint. And, and the third time I'll be meeting up with Kara to go through it. So it's really cool.
Right at the bottom here, when I click on this
That's
button,
fantastic.
what we're going to get, hopefully, there it is.
I think it's, I still think to this day, one of the best products
this application
for its of its kind. Well, of its kind, it might be the best product.
Across different channels.
As a product as a whole in the market, the same way I used to look at, say, a Thunderhead as a whole, or back in the day, Epiphany as a whole, meaning a product that helps
all the way on the right,
that is
that we experience
great in the overall market of all products. This one is up there.
What this tells
It's in the
Very
great
last
product category.
I remember last year when he did his demo and how they took the video of the COBOL app, and that was
amazing.
That was really, because I hadn't seen that before. That was just last year. Things have really progressed over the last year.
Yeah, and honestly, I've seen no product claim that they can, although I imagine they can, but now, meaning take a video and translate it.
Yeah, we know Gemini does that because I use that all the time at this point.
Well, it can translate the instructions of an application, right? I mean, that's what that other video was about.
Well, I don't know if it can because I never used it for that, but
that's what I mean. More of that. I mean, I know, yeah, Gemini does. I know the stuff that the OPG does is also does
that. We're
that.
very excited about. Let's pop back into my slides. Right. So you just saw how Blueprint lets you design agentic workflows. They're highly
the build is taking the blueprint into the Pega Infinity application. He's going to show that. So I'm sure there's a demo for that too.
Understand what the stakeholder wants.
Well, I'll say this: it's running. It's already past this length.
Yeah.
He needs to close this by 1:30, and
I
that
don't
should
do that.
close the whole thing.
Yeah, it should. But I don't think that because after design, there's build, and then there's execute.
Right. Well,
so we're just getting to the build part.
Build took. I mean, design took 7 minutes. 8 minutes almost.
With
8
the
minutes.
latest release of Pega Infinity.
So that would take it to 1:40 if to complete.
So now he's getting right into the build with Pega Infinity.
See, I really am curious as to how it looks relative to Creatio.
This is the most ambitious release of our product.
They're going to get a little look at it.
And it is full of AI capabilities that will completely change how enterprises will build mission-critical applications. So in the next few minutes, I want to show you a couple of my favorite
You know what I love?
functionalities in the product.
He is so passionate and excited about this stuff. He was doing the same. He was showing that same kind of excitement at our little media analyst thing last night, and he's just as excited here. I love that.
I believe
so
it.
that people who have basically built out a blueprint and understand how that works, they can continue.
He
with
is
that
not
experience
a
in
person
the
for.
studio as they build
He's
it
not
out.
an understated human
And for our
being.
customers who have built solutions in the past with early
He's also just a
products,
great
when they
person.
come to
He's
26,
just so
they can leverage
immediately
Blueprint's
likable.
AI capabilities
Yep.
to further update and change their,
Nice
their
big clap for the
solutions.
demo closure.
You will see that
What demo
the AI
closure?
assistant
It's not over.
that was a part
Well,
of
that
Blueprint,
portion
we
is.
found that so powerful. Well, we decided that we're going to have to bring it directly to the Infinity Studio to
Yeah.
be able to help people develop and make changes to
So
their applications.
the blueprint goes
We
directly
have a brand new
into.
capability called an implementation plan
Yeah.
to provide guidance on what
Maybe
needs
he's
to be
just going
done
to talk
next
this
so
through.
we can get this work done.
Ah.
And we have a brand new UI design
According to what he did
that I
yesterday.
think is just fabulous. So I definitely want to show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I believe,
Here we
pop
go.
back onto my laptop.
There it is.
All right. And I am going to move over to the Infinity Studio. So this is what Infinity Studio looks like. It should feel very familiar. It should be very easy to understand. If you've seen Blueprint before, it'll be easy to understand what happens and what the context, what the navigation looks like in Infinity Studio. And there's a couple of differences, but I'd like
I'm
to
trying to read it.
I'd like
That's
to
why
show
I'm
you.
leaning forward.
So I'm going to close this left tab here, and this is the overview of my application. So this is that application that we're building to onboard employees. I can pop in here, and I can see my workflows, and these are the different workflows that are part of my application. We see that laptop provisioning one that we're looking at moments ago. Here's the workflow.
And that
Here's
came right
our
from
AI step
Blueprint.
right there to be able to do the document agent.
So Blueprint,
I can get,
Blueprint through his prompt
I can see
ends up populating this. What we're seeing there is basically the results of his prompt in Blueprint.
Throughout my enterprise.
You did that is basically take the design to the application builder.
Same as in Blueprint, I can see the personas, their experiences, their security, their authentication, their authorization, how they're going to use the application and manage it directly from here. And at the end, we have this new thing called the implementation plan. And what the implementation plan does is it gives me essentially an AI-generated set of tasks that I can personally enhance as well of all the things that need to be done to actually complete the build process. There's tasks that need to be done. This is very much like a Kanban board, so people can quickly see them and understand them and do them. And there's a lot of things that's basically is showcased here. But there's a lot going on. So I'm going to filter this down just to stuff that they assign to me. They always do this. So I'm just going to select this. And here I see 3 different tasks in 3 different stages. The first one that's already done for me, because this is standard, is to set up the MCP integration. What that means is I can basically run my workflows from any other AI agent using industry standards, immediately out of the box, standard with Infinity 26. Now, there's a few other tasks, but before I start working on them, I want to show you the AI assistant. So right here at the left bottom, I'm going to click in here to open the AI assistant, and I can connect my Pega Infinity AI assistant to any model that I want, that I select, and use that to be able to bring that vibe coding capabilities directly into changing configuration and rules in the Pega system rule base.
Use Claude.
So we'll see that in a second. One of the things that's assigned to me is to complete.
Claude really does have token issues, though. I'll tell you.
Looking at the different devices that we're
I'm working with do something with it. I ran out this morning before in like 20 minutes, and I wasn't doing anything that would eat up tons of tokens.
To make sure that
I was asking questions.
Right? So
I think that's where you're going to see on the execute side where they talk about that.
Great. So now everybody knows I'm working on it. So
It said it would reset at 12:40
p.m. On the right side of the system, you basically
that was not even 9 o'clock a.m.
You see the definition of the task. Now, our basically Blueprint AI generated this definition for me. and it gave me clear instructions of what I need to do in order to complete this configuration, which can be complicated and it is difficult. I know how to do this, but so does my best friend. So, so I'm going to push this over. I push that task into my AI agent and say, hey, help, wait, I need that. Help me out. So I don't have to configure it. I don't have to have my hands on the keyboard. I'll just let AI assistant read that task, see what is requested, understand what we're looking to configure, comprehend how that fits into the overall structure of my existing application's its configuration. And if you're on the way to configuring it, if it has questions for me, it will come back and ask. Is it asking me? Yeah. So great, we're going to basically build this integration. It needs to know, oh, what's the URL to the integration and how we're going to find the APIs. And guess what? I actually have a page that has the documentation.
Wow,
so this is the
that
documentation
lucky?
of the external system.
Mhm.
It talks about how we authenticate, what are the endpoints, how you connect to it. It's all complicated stuff, right? And people who know. So I can read this and I can start basically answering my AI's question. But what I'm going to do is, you know what? I am busy. Why don't you read that piece of documentation? Why don't you figure out what
Yeah,
the
I do that all the
authentication
time with
structures
Claude.
are, what the
You read it, not
APIs
me.
are, what the parameters are, how we're
He
going
said, I
to
pay
manage
you
it.
to do these things.
And you start doing the configuration of the different rules and the integrations in the systems. Again, if you get to a point where you're stuck, come back to me. So here we go. It's asking for a couple of pieces of information. It wants the client ID to use for, let's say we're going to test it with KA1. And then it wants the password. You guys turn around for a second. So chocolate chip muffin 1 exclamation. All right, so that's our secret. And it will go through and actually it will build the structure and the configuration of my system for me. It will work very similar ways that you've seen other vibe coding tools, but it will do it in the context of this application within the best practices of how Pega does things. And has
I still wonder why it's called vibe coding. It has nothing to do with a vibe at all. It just has to do with the prompt.
Solution. And one of the really cool things that it does that I just absolutely love is that whenever it builds a chunk of functionality, it immediately builds a collection of automated tests that accompany that piece of functionality and runs those tests before it declares itself done, so that we have a continuously growing set of automated tests that become a part of the application that we can keep quality at the top of our minds. All right, so that's great. It has built the integration. Unit tests have passed. That is awesome. I am done. Now, there is one more thing that basically it's asking, they're asking me to do is they want me to take a look at the user experience. And one of the things that I promised you at the beginning is that we have a brand new UI designer that I'm very, very excited about, that I want to quickly show you what it looks like. So here we go. So on the top, you see this button, where it says preview my app. Well, guess what? I'm going to click on it. And this now, essentially, it's no surprise, it lets me experience the end user UI of this application. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the UI designer. And when I turn on the UI designer, it's going to give me a bunch of power tools to be able to use in the context of what I see on the screen. Right? So I click on it, and as you see, a set of tools on the left, on the right, and at the bottom just became available for me. And I can do lots of stuff. And at every step of the way, every visual construct in Pega is going to have the AI assistant right next to you to make it easier to add things and to make change things. So what can I do here? I can, I don't know, I can change the styles and change the look and feel of the application. I can change the fonts. I can change the size of the text.
I mean, this is nice, but it's what almost everybody can do things similar to
Not
that.
a problem.
Just pretty standard. It's just pretty standard UI designer front
for
end.
Processes, I can open up and
It's
see
important
what this
the transition
look
from
like
for a power
designing
user, for somebody
blueprint
who's in the
for
system,
building the app in this,
using the application all
in
the
this
time.
environment,
Yeah.
and
If there's
being
something that I
able
don't
to use
like,
whatever
well, I can just come to my AI assistant
that you
and say
want
changes.
to
For
do
example,
it.
there's all these fields in the details section you hear.
Makes
You want to
sense.
say, hey, better
But yeah,
organize
it's
the
you know, when
fields
you're this far
in the details
into a
section.
keynote, you don't want to
And my
spend
AI
too
will
much
look at my
time on
context,
anything at
will
this.
evaluate what I'm asking
Right.
for, will
When
come
they
back with
say
a suggestion,
run, they
will
should
update
literally
it,
show it
oh,
running, and that's the
just
end of
look
it.
at it.
Like it
Here's a
worked. It
recommendation
works.
for a better way to
Thank
organize the
you.
data. Let's just throw them
Or,
directly
you
onto the
know,
screen.
if you want to see
I'm gonna
more,
do that in just
you
a
Right.
gotta
Well, I mean, you want to run it,
and it's all in
and then
context.
show
You
that
know it's
it works.
context, I don't want
Does
that
one
here.
thing in
Just
2
delete it.
seconds.
Yeah.
It's just gone. I can super easily do
But
it.
I mean,
I can look at how the
the build,
instantiation,
no, the design, build,
creation
execute. I
screen
love
look like.
that, and
So if I
how
was to request one of those laptop
is the
provisioning
design, and then it
processes,
feeds
it's
into the
going to ask me for
build,
the employee,
and then
the
you got
requested
whatever's coming with the
device.
execute.
But I want one more field. I want to be able to capture the delivery methodology. So guess what? I can just pop into AI Assistant, type it in there, but you don't have to have AI for everything, right? You can just go in here and find a delivery method and just drag and drop it, click in here and make it required. And that is faster than any AI.
Again, a practical
done. And we just basically
that's not
changed it. And
AI for
it's in
AI sake.
place
Right.
immediately. And one additional capability that I'm very excited about is, yeah, you have these power users. Of
Oh
these
yeah, and
different
then there's another one
applications.
too.
There are
But
people that are
before I
using the
forget,
application day in, day out. They need data, they need
right.
actions available
Oh,
to them at the fingertips.
wait a minute. I forgot to.
And then sometimes you have
Wait, there's
occasional
more.
users who
That's right.
participate in the application.
Look, all I
They
request is that they
completely
end
connect.
this before the next game
And
starts.
there's a user experience that is for them as well. And I'm gonna close this.
Getting long.
And this user experience is much more
Yeah,
easier to
this
engage
would be
with.
my
It's much
only
more
real
fluid.
Right.
A
criticism.
little bit more
Yep,
space.
me
It's getting
too.
long.
And I can see essentially the things that I can request. I can see
I'm with you.
tasks that are assigned
100%. The
to
only
me.
criticism. The
I
reality
can
is,
immediately
what they
request
even what he's
back
showing is
from
valuable. It's
here.
just too much.
And it's the same process. It's the same rules. It's the same integrations. It's the same fields that we're capturing. But the experience is
The
much more
exuberance in
gentler
which
and
he
it's
is
targeted
presenting this
towards a different user.
definitely offsets a
And this is
little
why
of the
Designer
Yeah, well,
is a part of
length can.
2026, and we
I
are
agree.
extremely
Length can
excited
never
about
be
how
fully
we will
offset.
change the way people interact and evolve the solutions with Pega Infinity 26.
because you got to factor in
Let's go
people's
back to my
attention
slides.
spans in these keynotes too.
Oh, he's not going to go to run.
No, he's
now.
going to
So Infinity 26 is full of these AI capabilities that make it easier to just build and to test and
I mean,
to
it is a
explore
big
agentic
thing
workflows.
for them to point this stuff
And we're
out.
trying to make sure
Yeah.
that we provide you with a perfect mixed experience of visual, graphical, as well as vibe coding capabilities throughout the entire product. So that you have artificial intelligence whenever you need it, but we think human intelligence is also allowed throughout the entire engagement.
That's a really big
So
point.
now
Yeah.
that we designed this app, right, we built it, well, let's run this application so we can start to onboard Enrique.
No, run instead of execute.
And as you heard multiple times before,
That can't
you
be
can
too
run
long.
these processes
Unless they're going to
across
fully
different
onboard
apps.
Enrique and have
You saw what it would
him
look like
say,
for
well,
a power user.
Enrique,
able to
go
leverage
pick
it.
up
You
your
saw what it looks like
badge,
for an
and
occasional user.
Hmm.
You can
and
come
then
at
they'll
it
wait
through
till he goes and gets
APIs,
his badge.
or you can run it conversationally. And one of the ways you would run it conversationally is through the Pega agentic process fabric. So let me quickly show you what
You haven't
that
quickly showed
experience
us
will look
anything.
like with the Pega's agentic process fabric. I'm gonna
But
go
to
back
your
to my
credit,
laptop one more time.
you're engaging.
All right.
Yeah. If he didn't have the engagement skills
So
and
here's
natural
what the
engagement
process
skills that
agentic
he
fabric
has,
could look
Well,
like.
remember
Essentially, that you
we've
would
cut things off early
present
before.
to your employees.
This one
The way it
will
works
stick
is,
out.
right at
yeah,
the center
we're all,
here, you
I'm
just
hoping we're almost
register
there.
all the different
Yeah, I'm
applications,
pretty sure this has got to be it.
processes, and workflows.
Because I really do want to see how they
They
land.
could be related applications. They could just be unrelated applications. Each application will have a set of workflows that you automate, the knowledge base that you can look at, the data that it exposes. And a user can just pop into any one of these applications and do their work, or they can just engage with it conversationally
and the process fabric will figure out in what order the different applications and processes need to execute to be able to complete the outcome. So I'm going to say, hey, I want to onboard someone. And what this will do is it will figure out what is the right application to be able to look at and what are the right workflows to execute. And it was basically is going to say, well, what do you want to do first? I want to do that laptop request. So it's working on it. It goes to a separate application to figure out who is starting soon, because it needs to figure out that was the first question we asked.
That's pretty good.
It is. Anyone?
Enrique, yay.
And then next step, you remember in our process, it wants to figure out what is the device that we're requesting. Again, it connects to a different system, comes back, asks me a question. We're going to get Enrique the MacBook Pro. And then remember when we were doing the UI designer and we dragged and dropped that last field that was basically talking about the delivery method. And I'm going to select Pega Express, which is the fastest way to deliver.
Yeah.
And then it goes through. It basically starts to process. It is in its way, and it gives me a link directly to the case, the reference ID. And when I click on it, what I see, of course,
That's
is the
pretty
user
cool.
experience that we designed for that occasional user in
Yep.
the context of the agentic process fabric for this process, and I can see what's happening. I can see that it's, oh, look, Matt Healy is looking at the case. That's good. And he himself is going to deliver the laptop. That is so kind. So, and there he is. Hey, Matt. Oh, thank you, buddy.
That
This
Don
is great.
Sure man must have designed that one.
I saw him and he's saying, yeah, they do. They didn't have me on the stage anymore. I'm like,
All right, thank you.
oh, that's a shame. And now I guess he was just playing it off for them.
There he is.
What?
Our delivery is complete, and we are good to go. Now, what's really great about about this is also that the agentic process fabric operates through that MCP connectivity that we talked about, which also means that you can take your processes and connect them to any AI out there. You can connect them to Claude Cowork, you can connect them to OpenAI, you can connect them to Agent Space, or whatever AI tool that's going to come next. But that means you can run these mission-critical workflows with predictable cost and predictable outcomes from anywhere.
This is a key message.
Now, I realize I just showed you a ton of stuff, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like I said before, Infinity 26 is the most ambitious release from Pega in over a decade. And it is full of capabilities and services and controls that make it the platform of choice for your enterprise, for your
Holy
mission-critical
cow.
applications.
What a great camera shot, though.
This AI
Pulling out from the middle
exciting.
like that.
And huge screen.
No,
You
actually,
know AI
the
is
work
powerful.
between the camera work
You know it's
and
impressive,
the
but
and
it doesn't have to be
video
scary.
stuff, it's
And we just show
really
you
good.
how you can
Like, it's-
reimagine,
It's done an excellent
build,
job with all that.
and run
Yep.
all of your mission-critical
So
workflows.
much so that I hadn't said
So
anything
we're hoping that you'll come in right
about
this way with
some
us.
negative thing, you know?
You know,
Yeah.
Muffin is already out there. And you can just come and join us.
I'm
I
glad they
promise you
gave
we're
us
going to have a blast.
a lasting
And
image
all
of
of this starts
Muffin
right now.
that wasn't
Welcome to
a
PegaWorld. Thank you.
case.
Okay.
All right, so now we get the wrap up, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Notice someone is missing.
What? Yeah.
We haven't seen.
Wait, that's it? Isn't Alan coming back for a second?
I thought so. I guess that's it. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That was a
abrupt.
interesting. Okay, let me get rid of this and let's wrap things up here.
Okay.
All right. So your thoughts?
Well, I'll even though there were only two, and I'll call them at this point nitpicks, little long, and I'd like to have seen wider industry representation, but they checked every other box to me. And not only that, they literally made the case for the actual use of AI in an enterprise environment, the way it's supposed to be used, and they presented the tools that were as practical as the conversations going on. The customers were outstanding, and that was every one of the, I guess it was customer and partner too.
Right.
Every one of the three, right? So it was the AWS and Unum, I guess, yeah, and MetLife. And MetLife, they were all outstanding, and they were making, they were case studies walking, and every one of them articulated beautifully what was necessary. And I love the fact that they addressed, and I know all of us would consider thinking about it, and Liz and Adrian brought it out specifically, the whole token maxing and tokenomics. Tokenomics. They addressed that directly from the beginning in a way that was absolutely on point. So on the whole, this still is number one for the year. And as good as I thought ServiceNow was, it's kind of a distant number one from even ServiceNow. So ServiceNow was number two, but a distant number two. So what about you?
Well, I once again, I kind of judge, at least this year in particular, I kind of judge these opening keynotes on how, and in some cases, if they go directly towards addressing some of these AI anxiety issues, and the tokenomics is one of them, because that's part of the overall, how much is this stuff going to cost me? And so far, Alan is really the only CEO at these events that has addressed it to a certain extent. Now, we didn't get any like actual price numbers, but he did talk about how they are approaching costs and how their whole strategy around using AI and optimizing the use of AI at different parts of the what is it called? The build. No, I guess it's called design, build,
run.
Yeah. So they kind of laid out in high level terms why they're able to talk about this tokenomics, and why they feel comfortable about having a better idea on how much this stuff is going to cost, and why they're able to design their platform to have a little bit more understanding of what it's going to cost, and not have people get hit over the head with, oh my God, we weren't expecting this. So that in itself alone kind of puts them in this keynote in a class of its own, because all the other ones, they have never really directly addressed some of the things that are driving the AI anxiety. And this, they did it right from the giddy up, and they talk about it. Alan talks about it. Karim talked about it. The customers even talked about it to a certain extent. And so that sets them apart right now. The only real ding is the time. I mean, I think it's just people's attentions really start to wander after a certain amount of time. And even as good as the content can be, if it comes a little late in the keynote, or if it takes too long getting to where they want to go, you start losing people. I didn't say they lost them. I'm just saying, because I think Kareem, everybody was such a really good presenter, and a natural presenter, and you don't feel like there's any script going on, although I know there's some practice or whatever, but the way it was presented gives them a little leeway in being a little longer. But that would be my main kind of criticism.
I guess the last thing I would like to say, I just realized I probably need to address it, is they have been for decades, and I've known them for over 2 decades. They have been the gold standard for the evolution of the corporate narrative. They have been the gold standard without any question. Because the power of the corporate narrative is that you know discontinuity, because then you lose customers freak out, et cetera, and you have companies that just make abrupt shifts, and there's no explanation, there's no nothing organic in there that makes it seem like, okay, well, that makes sense to the people who are listening. And every single time they've made an every time there's been an evolutionary shift in the corporate narrative, they have had an exceptional customer or group of customers to support it. You know, customer experience, Lloyd's of London, customer engagement, the two guys from San Diego who were probably the funniest two I've ever heard of.
The best friends.
Right, the best friends, and also brilliant practitioners,
Yeah,
and both
yeah.
use Pega, right? And then finally, like today, I would say the MetLife and Unum Unum Person, those two were outstanding representatives of the evolution of the Pega corporate narrative, which began with Blueprint. You know, was back in the day in 2024 is where the evolution began, and now it's kind of come to a maturity. And these two were outstanding representatives again. So they just do it right. And if there's any companies out there who are wondering how to do a corporate narrative, look at these guys over the last minimally 2 decades, because that's as long as I've known them, but probably over all 3 decades, and especially since the time they acquired Cordiant and brought in CRM. That's when it really began, and you could see it clearly. So kudos to them, man. They haven't lost a beat on that.
No, I would say that they're although the narrative kind of changes and transforms with the times, certain messaging is still the same over 20, 30 years. Inside out, layer cake, these are things that not only have they been true to over the course of decades, and as the overall narrative may switch, those elements stay the same. I literally am hearing other vendors using some of these terminologies in their messaging, which is a testament to to these guys. And then I think the last thing I'll say is it really having folks not only that are good, but have been doing this for decades, like being a part of the PegaWorld for decades, like Alan, like Karam, like Don, although we didn't see him, he had a big hand in this. That level of familiarity really comes across well. And then you're able to leverage your customers have, and let them find the right ones to tell their story, as opposed to trying to make them fit into some sort of thing where, you have to speak for them. Sometimes that works. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, but I think it works best when you're able to trust your customers to tell their story and give them, maybe a framework of how to do it, but then let them do it, because nobody speaks better for them than them itself once you get the right spokesperson. And that fits into the familiarity of the executives that we like to see. We really do enjoy seeing these guys because they still enjoy doing what they do, and that comes across too.
Absolutely does. I mean, look, ultimately, that familiarity is it. Look, they're not a community; they're a company, but and they have a customer ecosystem, and it's no coincidence. I know Alan has mentioned on Playaz when he comes on that they have customers they've had the entirety of their existence for a long, and they have an incredibly high retention rate for customers. Right? There's a reason for that, and the reason is the point you just made. Right. So I think that's the customers feel like they're part of this. Right. And they are. Do I think Pega could, that's what I said in the very beginning. Do I think overall they could do better on the partnering? Yeah, they could. I mean, it's not like they have a bad partner ecosystem. And the people who partner with them are pretty happy. I just don't think it's fully baked or built out the way it needs to be built out yet. But on the whole, the quality of the partners they do have is evident when you see AWS transform.
Yeah, and I do think you'll see more on the partnering later on during the event, but also just the messaging afterwards. And because I did have a chance to, well, they did talk a little bit about it in the media analyst thing. Yeah. So I think they were trying to fit a lot of stuff in this, and they did fit a lot of stuff. But they did, I guess they had to leave a few things out as well. But overall, yeah, I think this was the best so far. It was the most realistic. I think it answered customer sentiment or questions better than the other ones, because the narrative of the SaaS apocalypse, I don't think really has really been fully addressed on these opening keynotes. I think some of them came close, like Bill McDermott at ServiceNow came close, but Alan addressed it right off the top. I mean, and I think that is a big differentiator. Addressing these AI anxiety, SaaS apocalypse kind of stuff. And even if you don't have all the answers, or the answers you would like to give at this moment, you got to address it. You got to meet it full on. Luckily for these guys, they have good answers to that.
Yeah.
And they were able to put that front and center. So,
amen.
All right. So I will be hanging around. Like I said, Tara, the wow, as we like to call her. You speak with her. Kara Manton, who I'm really looking forward to talking with and getting my annual Torah blueprint. And I'll just put up, because we have never talked to David Bedoni before. And so I'm looking forward to talking to their chief information officer. So,
well, send him my long distance hellos and regards, and tell him I'm sorry I'm not there to give him his very first hug.
Right. Yeah, he will not experience that, unfortunately.
No, and by the way, please, Lisa, first, this is for you, and I promise you, and this is an absolute promise, that somehow, even if you retire, we will find a way, and I will give you an in-person hug and take you and your family out to dinner besides, to celebrate that retirement.
Dinner and a hug.
You got it fully. And please, if she doesn't see this, Brent, would you please make sure she knows that? I am dead serious on this.
I will make sure.
Thank
On that note, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paulg Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz. No show Thursday because we just did this, but we'll be back next Thursday. I hope. As Kareem says, I hope. We'll see you.